Jason Kander is a Missouri Democrat, and he is challenging Republican Roy Blunt in his U.S. Senate seat. Now, he just recently put out this ad, and it's kind of amazing. Let's take a look.
I'm Jason Kander, and Senator Blunt has been attacking me on guns. Well, in the Army, I learned how to use and respect my rifle. In Afghanistan, I'd volunteer to be an extra gun in a convoy of unarmored SUVs. And in the state legislature, I supported Second Amendment rights. I also believe in background checks so that terrorists can't get their hands on one of these. I approve this message because I'd like to see Senator Blunt do this.
Damn. Putting together a gun blindfold? That's pretty talented. Now, this counters the narrative. Like, whenever you talk to a Republican about gun control, usually like, you liberals don't know anything about guns. You don't know how they work. You know, you don't know that this is going to work. You don't even know how to operate. I'm sure you guys are scared of guns. Well, in this case, no. That would be the wrong assumption. This guy was in Afghanistan. He learned how to use and respect his rifle because it's not a toy. It is a dangerous implement, or it can be dangerous if you use it wrong. It is meant to be, of course, a tool for either home defense or hunting or killing other people. Usually it's used to kill other things. Whether it be in defense or whatnot, that depends on how you use it. Now, this guy knows how to use that rifle, knows how to put it together. He knows his guns. He knows his shit. Now, and still, he's in favor of background checks. That's what he said. That's what he's running on. And in fact, background check legislation is incredibly popular. At least 70% of Americans said that they favor background checks. They're in favor of it. Like, yeah, background checks, they make sense. Make sure the terrorists don't get guns, or people that they shouldn't have guns won't get guns if we have a comprehensive background check system. Now, we already do in some states, but it's not comprehensive. There are gaps. A lot of people tend to fall through. Okay? And that's what a national background check system would actually do. Now, a CBS New York Times poll also found that 92% of Americans, including 87% of Republicans, also favor background checks for all gun buyers. And that makes sense because you don't want terrorists to get a hand of those guns. Now, unfortunately, the problem that we have here is not the fact that the American people don't want background checks. I just gave you off some of the polls. A majority of Americans want background checks. So what's the problem? It's the money. You got to follow the money. Now, remember that Princeton study. I always go back to it, right? It shows that the United States is more of an oligarchy than a democracy. It means that special interests and wealthy donors, they have much more influence than we do. In fact, the voter has a statistically insignificant effect on policy. The policies that they want, unless they align to those of the wealthy, never get implemented. Now, if it aligns with wealthy, it has a much better chance of becoming law. Now, in this case, we have a special interest in this. It's called the gun lobby, right? Now, the gun manufacturers, through the NRA, tend to purchase politicians. They purchase these politicians, go out and say, we will have absolutely no gun control laws. None. Because, think about it, every time somebody gets shot, every time there's a mass shooting, guess what happens? More people go out and buy more guns. They're like, oh my God, I got to protect myself. And then every time that happens, they make money. It's literally blood money. That's going to the NRA. That's going to the manufacturers of these guns. Now, good thing is that we've got Democrats that are fighting back. Now, this is according to the Kansas City Star. The Democratic Party will pour $2 million more into this Missouri race as Kander seeks to oust Roy Blunt. So they're putting $2 million more into this campaign now to defeat Roy Blunt. Now, when it comes to guns, here's Roy Blunt. You can't get more gun manufacturer friendly than Blunt. He actually voted yes on decreasing gun waiting period from 3 days to 1 day. He voted yes on national cross-state standard for concealed carry laws. Now, what does that actually mean? Basically, it says, like, if you have a concealed carry permit in Kansas and you want to go to New York, well, this law means that you can go to New York and New York can't say, hey, you can't have a gun here. No. I've got a permit. I've got a permit in Kansas, so suck it. I'm going to carry my gun anywhere I want. Roy Blunt's in favor of that. Wait, what happened to states' rights? What happened to sovereignty, right? State sovereignty. Now they're saying, well, as long as it allows our citizens of our state to carry guns in your state, whether or not you like guns, well, we're in favor of having our people carry guns anywhere we want. And you can do nothing about it. Nothing. That's what he's in favor of. Now, he also voted to ban gun registration and trigger locks in Washington, D.C. Now, though, some of you might be like, oh, gun registration, that leads to, basically your guns being taken away. I'll disagree with that. But trigger locks, really? That's the outrageous thing. What's so controversial about a trigger lock? It actually helps stop your gun from being accidentally discharged by, say, a toddler, which happens more often than you think. Kid gets a hold of a gun, they've got a trigger lock on, well, at least it's more likely that they're not going to shoot themselves or you. But no. Roy Blunt says, trigger locks? Fuck it. We should operate like the Wild West. And look, if somebody shoots themselves, Darwin Award. It's crazy. Now, he's also got an A rating by the NRA, of course. And in his 19 years in Congress, you're not going to be surprised here, Roy Blunt has gotten just over $60,000 from the NRA since 1998. Now, I'm sure that's a coincidence, though. He's just that good on guns that they decided to pour money into him. You can't get more gun manufacturer friendly than Roy Blunt. Now, to get back to Jason Kander, right? Now, the DSCC has spent $3.5 million just in Missouri just this past week. Now, as a Democratic Party official told Politico, as we've said from the very beginning, spending levels will be adjusted across the map. North Carolina and Missouri are both incredibly competitive races where you have put Republican incumbents on defense in the fight for their lives. The Ohio and Florida races are both still good turf for Democrats, and we continue to make targeted investments in those states. Now, how close is this? Well, one poll last week actually showed Kander leading Roy Blunt 42-40, although other polls do have Blunt ahead. So, could this be a winning issue in Missouri? It could be. It's a winning issue around the entire country. And I think, look, this is a smart ad. I think this is an effective ad, especially in a place where, yes, people like their guns, they respect their guns, but they also say, let's have some common sense gun control. So whether or not that will lead to a Jason Kander victory in Missouri, we'll have to see. I hope the people of Missouri end up making the right choice and give Blunt his packing papers. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron. Patreon.com/TYTNation.